Hello everybody. So here we are, movement and yoga with me, Kat, and it's actually now week 4. So it's coming up to a month of doing yoga and movement online, and I hope you're enjoying it so far. I also hope you had a lovely Easter weekend and was able to enjoy some sunshine and to see spring appearing outside in the landscape, whether that be birds singing or the blossoms on the trees, being able to see those as well. So this week I thought we could look at the 2 domes in the body, so the pelvis and then the diaphragm. There are other domes throughout the body, which I'll briefly mention later, but mainly the pelvis bowl and then the diaphragm bowl, making sure that we have lots of space in our body for our joints and organs to be able to move and feel comfortable in their space. So just to show the pelvis here, so these are the adductors in the upper leg and pelvis, and there are a lot more throughout the pelvis here that make kind of a bowl shape, and there's the pelvic floor as well. But I'll just bring this a bit closer so you can see there. So these are adductors. So any movement bringing the leg towards the body or like closing the legs together, that's where these muscles come into play. So this space creates one bowl that we can see in the pelvis, and here is where the ribs are, the lower ribs, and that's the other dome in the body, mirroring the pelvis, and this is where the diaphragm sits, which is, I think I've got a nice picture of it here. Here we are, the diaphragm, the other bowl dome shape in the body. So it spans, as you can see, they've done like a cross section of the ribs on the picture, and it spans from the very back of the ribs all the way round to the front. So the diaphragm doesn't just sit here at the front, it's attached all the way to the back of the ribs here, and so it's this huge dome like this. And as you breathe in, it draws downwards. So instead of being like this, as you breathe in, it does this. And as you breathe out, it does this again. So the lungs are on the top. Just put that book down. The lungs are sitting on the top here. And as you breathe in, the lungs fill up. The diaphragm drops to allow more space. And as you breathe out, the lungs decrease a bit in size to let the air out, and the diaphragm comes back up again into a dome shape. So there's the shapes in our bodies that we have. There's also another pelvic bone, it's the right hip bone. So this is looking from the inside. So here's the pubic bone here, and this would be where the sacrum sits here, and the femur would join in there. And this is the inside of the pelvis, the iliac crest, like that. It's quite a nice image, half of the pelvis there. So this would be half of the bowl that we have in the pelvis. Okay, so all these domes and spaces we have in our body, let's allow them to open so we're able to move easier, breathe easier, and relax and sleep better too. So let's begin sitting today. So whether you have a chair or a stool or sofa, you can sit on the edge of the sofa as well. And you'll need, if you've got one, unless you have a very nice person that lives with you that can give your feet a massage, or yourself. If you have a tennis ball or a golf ball, is a bit firmer to use, but tennis ball is great because it allows you to use, it presses in a little bit more. It's a lot easier on your foot. So choose a ball if you've got one, and I'll just get the chair. I'm going to place that here. Great. So what we want to do is really make sure our feet are kind of hip or shoulder width apart, and that the toes are relaxing on the floor and the foot is spread. Also want to make sure that our pelvis is nice and comfortable on the chair. So I'm not leaning backwards, tilting the pelvis and sinking in the chest, and I'm not overextending here and allowing the chest to fall open like this so the shoulders are squeezed back. We want somewhere in the middle, so that bony part underneath your pelvis, the sitting bones, or your tuberosities of ischium. They're kind of like the mini heels. So we've got heels in the foot. They're like the heels of the pelvis, so you can really plant the whole pelvis on the chair to feel comfortable. So the spine can just dangle upwards towards the sky. So these domes we have in our body everywhere, as well as the ball of the pelvis and the dome of the diaphragm. We've also got a dome, an arch in the foot. There's the pelvis, the diaphragm. There's also the roof of the mouth. That's another dome and space. And also the skull. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 areas that are curved or bowl-like, dome-like, that hold or contain something within them. So let's start at the foot dome first, using our ball. So I'm spreading my other foot on the floor, and I'm away from the back of the chair, so I'm not leaning on the back of the chair. I'm allowing my shoulders or arms to drop down by the sides, just shake them to see if they're released, and the shoulders as well. How's your neck and head as well? How are they feeling? Do you feel they're tight or held? See if you can give your head a little shake and a nod. That's great. So moving the ball around underneath the foot. So I'm just turn my foot sideways so you can see. I'm going right in on the arch of the foot and all the way to the little toe side. So I'm more focusing on the sole of the foot, the arch of the foot, making circles with the ball in different directions. Also, let's not forget the ball of the foot and going up to where the toes are joined and attached as well. Great. And then to the heel, you can give that a massage with the ball underneath your foot as well. Inside of the foot, outside of the foot, inside. So I'm making like U shape from the little toe, rolling the foot forward onto the heel, and then rolling it back on the inside. So you can play little games moving the foot along the ball. Waking up the feet. This will help ground us, allowing space through the feet will help the pelvis, the diaphragm, the roof of the mouth and the skull to ease in the body as well. Great. So swapping feet. So I'm going to place the foot I've just worked with onto the floor and let the foot spread on the floor, but allowing maybe a little bit of space under the arch of the foot. And lift this one up. So I'm doing circles round the arch of my foot. right on the inside edge, so medial, and then to the little toe, the distal. That's great. So changing direction. Seeing how your shoulders and arms are they relaxed down by your body? Are you sitting comfortably on your pelvis so you can rearrange if you need to? How's your head and neck? And your jaw, is that released as well? And then massaging the ball to the ball of your foot, to the part where the toes are attached. Really getting in there, giving them all space. All those areas between the bones, space. To the heel of the foot. Great, and then I'm going to play this game where I've got it on my little toe side, so I've turned my foot inwards, and I'm going to roll the ball from my little toe down to the heel, turn the foot over and back up to the big toe side on the inside. I do notice it's quite sunny on my foot, so I hope you can see. So I'm just rolling in a U shape, big toe, inside, down to the heel, turn the foot inwards to the little toe. Lovely. That's great. And then just putting the ball to one side and seeing how the feet feel now. Are they spreading in the floor with a little upward lift in the arch? So let's just lift just the toes off the floor and then release them. And again, just the toes and release them once more, lifting the toes off the floor and releasing them. And then just the heels. So allowing the heels to come off could just be a centimetre, or if you feel you can really raise the heel completely off, allowing space right underneath, opening the front of the ankle here and down. And once more, lifting the heels to whatever height feels comfortable and release the heels. And again, once more, lovely, and then place that down. Let's just do the toes once more, lifting the whole foot. See if you can keep the heel on the floor. And we're going to flex the whole foot, toes first, and then the ball of the foot and down. Once more, toes first, ball of the foot, and then down. Lovely. So from here, we're just going to lift our arms up to the sky and take a big deep breath. Excuse me, I'm already yawning, but maybe you want to yawn. I'm going to open these spaces, domes in the body, opening them up with a breath in. So you might want to breathe in as you can stretch to the sky. Woo! Feel free. Oh yes, I am quite yawning. Feel free to yawn. Breathing in and out. You want to breathe in, stretching and opening. Maybe you want to take the yawn to one side or the other. We've still got our feet planted and rooted into the ground. Breathing in, arms can come up. You can look up towards the ceiling if you can, if that feels comfortable. Breathing in, yawn if you need to. Woo! Oh, dear. I did need to. Shifting all of that space and energy in the body, allowing breath in and out again to create more space and room in between all the bones and muscles and organs. Great. So from here, we're going to draw the hands into a prayer position. And this one's called the wagging dragon's tail. So prayer position this way, then point the fingers away from you. So the heel of the hands is towards you. I've got a gap between me and between my hands and my sternum. So I'll just turn sideways so you can see. I want to stay planted on the floor with the feet. sitting comfortably on the sitting bones, and the spine can lift an arm curl up towards the ceiling. So I've got my arms in prayer position, making sure the elbows are relaxed. We don't need to hold them out. Also the shoulders, you might just want to roll them up and forward and back to release them. Let them melt down the back over the ribs to draw them towards the floor. And then allow the fingers to go away from you, and I'm going to allow the hands to come out from the chest. So my elbows are slightly, they are relaxed like this, and I'm going to open the fingers so the hands are together, but opening the fingers, allowing the elbows to drop so you don't have to hold them out. And I'm going to breathe in here, filling the lungs and letting the diaphragm drop towards the bowl of the pelvis. And on an out breath, the right hand's going to push into the left. Breathing in, coming back again to the center. Breathing out the left hand, so it's all movement from the left. And the rest of my spine and head and face, so I'm following the motion of my hands, but everything comes from the push of the hand on the opposite side. So I don't want to be wiggling around like this or from the shoulders. It's really from the hands. So we're going to breathe into the belly, drawing the diaphragm down to allow more space for the lungs and the air. Breathing out, the right hand pushes to the left side gently, and only twist as far as is comfortable. Breathing in, come back to the center again. Breathing out, pressing the left into the right. Breathing in and gently sliding back. Breathing out, right into the left. Breathing in again to come back to the center. Breathing out, the left hand goes to the right hand. Breathing in back to the center. So let's just keep doing this a couple of times and go to the natural pace of your own breath. There's no right and there's no wrong. Whatever feels comfortable for you. And then keep the movement going, but allow the breath just to come to its natural rhythm. So the movement and the breath are slightly separate. I'm going to change the pace. So I'm making the movement less wide and a little faster. And it's getting smaller, coming more to the front of the body, allowing the spine to dance and ripple from the movement of the hands. Clearing out lots of old air in the lungs and allowing fresh oxygen in. Settle back to the center. Hands in prayer position, and then we'll release that. So shaking the hands out to the side, and the arms, and then the shoulders. That's great. Lovely. So we're just going to let the chin drop towards the chest. Just allowing the chin. So we're keeping the shoulders, they're not curling over just yet. Keeping the shoulder girdle nice and wide along the collarbone. And then allow the gaze to look up towards the ceiling. So we're not collapsing in the neck. We want to make sure there's a nice curve, as though someone's placed a cushion behind your head. And then again, chin to chest. So as we're moving the head down to look down and to look towards the ceiling, we're thinking of these domes. So the dome in the roof of your mouth and the dome in the skull. So as your head tilts, perhaps you can imagine the dome being moved with the air on an out breath. So the roof of the mouth gently being drawn upwards and slightly back. Breathing in here, breathing out, they can close again. So closing the dome towards the spine. And again, breathing in, breathing out, allowing the dome of the mouth to move up and backwards. And the dome of the skull, keeping space in the back of the neck. Breathing in, breathing out, again, the dome of the mouth and the skull gently tilt forward and release forward. Let's do that once more together. Breathing in, breathing out, everything moves. So the dome of the skull, the dome of the roof of the mouth, the diaphragm is also moving up and back. Breathing in here, diaphragm pulls down towards the pelvis again as we breathe in. And as we breathe out, then the roof of the mouth and the skull can move over as well. Breathing in, breathe out. And then gently bring your head back to center. Let it float to one side. Only going as far as is comfortable. Don't want to strain anything on the front of the neck or at the back. Gently sliding the head from one side to the other. So as though we've got air in the roof, in the mouth and then the head. It's like the dome's just gently being moved from one side to the other. And even moving the head, there's a slight turn in the spine. So the diaphragm is also moving from side to side like this. Allowing the breath in, allowing yourself to yawn if you need to. And then coming back to center. Great. So I'm just going to shake my hands and arms out again. And raise my feet so they're comfortable. So I'm just going to gently, so with my feet spread on the floor, but the domes of the feet are nicely lifted, drawing up the lower leg. The pelvis is rooted, allowing everything to drop in the sacrum, allowing the breath to be drawn in as the diaphragm moves. The roof of the mouth is open with air, and also the brain can sit in a nice space in the dome of the skull. So we're going to breathe in here. The spine's nice and long, floating up towards the sky. And as we breathe out, the head can drop forward, and I'm going to curl forward. Let my hands slide over the thighs and drop to my lower arms, my forearms. So making sure your head's not held. Release the head. Really let it hang over. So my pelvis is still rooted on the chair. I've not lifted the tailbone off. Both sitting bones are still on the chair here. Taking a breath here, and then on an out breath, walk your hands back up to sitting. So we're going to do that again. If you feel comfortable, you can just lean the weight onto your palms of your hands on your thighs here, releasing the head and neck, or sliding down to your forearms. Or if you feel comfortable too, you can keep sliding and curling over.
allowing the tail and pelvis to still be rooted on the chair, and you can let your body cascade over your legs if that's comfortable. So whatever position you're in, really making sure the head and the neck is released. Want to make sure that we're not holding on to anything. So the feet, the roof and the arch of the foot is nicely engaged, drawing upwards. We're giving diaphragm and roof of the mouth and the top of the head space to relax. And there's more space being created here in the pelvis at the back. Then breathing out, whatever position you're in, use your hands to walk you back up to sitting again. Great. So from here, we're going to make our way up to standing. So taking your time, there's no rush. Perhaps you feel a nice energy lifting from your feet as we've worked them so well there. So I'm just going to rearrange the camera so you can see me standing there. And I will draw the curtain a little because it's quite bright, but you might not be able to see what I'm up to. So here we are, standing in parallel there. So we want to walk through the feet. Oh, mine feel much better now. I've used the tennis ball to massage the sole of the foot. Great. So allowing these arches of the feet to allow space and movement rippling up to the rest of your body. So the pelvis might join in, allowing it rippling all the way up to your head. And then come to standing. So we want to make sure that the weight is right through the feet. The toes are spreading, so you can lift the toes and let them settle. And the heels as well, lifting the heels slightly. And then lengthening the legs down into the ground so there's space for the pelvis. So I'll just turn sideways so you can see. So we won't lean too much forward or too far back. We want somewhere in between. So perhaps you want to play with that, rocking in the feet, rocking with the weight of your body. Seeing where's comfortable for you. So I'm going to place my weight here, and I'm allowing, as I lift the toes, I'm allowing as I lift the heels, that then the heels draw towards the floor, and I can allow more space in my lower back here to open up without tucking the pelvis. So the tailbone's dropping behind me. It's kind of behind between the heels. So my pelvis is nice and settled on the top of my legs. The diaphragm's got plenty of room to breathe. And then the head can keep drawing up, on-curling towards the sky. Lovely. So let's reverse what we normally do, just for a change, rather than starting from the feet. So we've done our head exercises already, sitting. So let's come to the shoulders. Let's draw them up, forward and back, rolling the shoulder blades, the shoulder girdle, opening the ribs at the back and the front, allowing the lungs to have space in the dome of the rib cage. Great. And then the opposite way. So drawing them back, opening the chest at the front, up and forward. Not forgetting to breathe and smile, and back the other way. Lovely. That's great. And allowing that to shake out. Allowing the shoulders to lift and just releasing the arms and let that go. Great. So I'm going to take a wider stance now, and keeping my legs elongated so the kneecaps are not locked, they're just released on the leg, but I'm not bending at the knees, I'm lengthening the legs. I'm just going to take some circles in the pelvis, allowing that whole bowl of the pelvis to be moved. It's like oiling the joints and oiling all of the connective tissue and muscles in the pelvis. So we looked at the adductors in the pelvis and the upper leg. So by moving this in pelvis in circles, we're helping release tension in the inner thigh and the front of the hips. And then change direction. So we're oiling the pelvis. Hopefully, when we get back to doing our actual classes at the pit stop again, I'm sure some of you have all turned into John Travolta with extra wiggly pelvis movement. Okay. And then how about a figure of 8? So you can allow the knees to soften, so I'm not lengthening the legs so much. How is a figure of 8 on the side? Really opening the space of the pelvis. Great. And then just for the brain, try it the other way. There's probably one way that you prefer, that you'll probably do that one first. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter the shape. Just see if you can give that a go. Really allowing the breath in the body again. Very yawny. Letting all that clean new oxygen coming in. Great. And then stepping that back into a kind of neutral parallel position here. So still thinking of the pelvis. So we've done circles and a figure of 8 on the side. So I think a very long time ago we did the 3 tails, imagining we have 3 different types of tails. So I'd like to go over that movement and have a bit of fun as well. So the first tail is imagining you have a really long, either like a cat tail or lion's tail. It's really long. So I'll just turn slightly sideways so you can see. And I will gently soften the knees, but I'm allowing space underneath the arch of the foot to gently lift. So I've got this huge cat tail and I'm allowing it to move from side to side. It's not far off our figure of 8 on the side. So really wagging the tail, that's great. Allowing the rest of the spine to join in, release the arms. See how your head and neck is. So you don't want to keep that still up here and move the pelvis. Really want everything to be able to move. Huge, huge cat tail. Maybe a lion or a puma, whatever tickles your fancy, or a tomcat. Great. Lovely. And then the next tail, so that's the big cat tail. The next tail is the fish tail. So if I were a fish, my tail would move this way. So I'm softening the knees again, and I'm allowing the tailbone moving side to side. So I'm not lifting the pelvis, moving it from side to side. So I really soften the knees, and it's these 2 hip bones, so the femur bones, the greater trochanters, are moving from side to side, kind of like a typewriter, top of a typewriter. So you can go at your own pace without lifting. Just want them to slide from side to side. And the less you think about it, the easier it is. Just swimming along, that's great. Releasing the spine, letting your arms go. Fishtail moving this way. That's great. I'm sure you're having a good time. Maybe the neighbours can see you through the window, but who cares? This is great for you. And release that. Great. So the next one, if you take a wider stance again, so you can have your feet slightly turned out if that's easier on the knees. Don't have to keep them in parallel. See what feels comfortable for you. So this time we have a dinosaur tail. Huge, fat, wide dinosaur tail. And it comes straight out the back of the pelvis into a point. The dinosaur tail sweeps backwards and then it swishes through the legs and swoops forwards. So we're going sweeping back and sweeping forwards. Really using the knees to help you move the pelvis from side to side. Front and back, I mean. That's great. Not forgetting to breathe and allowing the head and shoulders to just go on the ride as well. Really allowing full range of that enormous dinosaur tail to swoop forward and back. That's great. I think you guys will feel much more fluid in the pelvis and smooth through the spine. Whether you're sitting watching a movie later, you can sit more comfortably, or perhaps you're out in your garden. Hopefully you can dig or sit a lot easier if you're in the garden. Great, and releasing that. Give that a shake out. Lovely. Now let's come to the knees. So we want to place our feet close together. You don't have to touch. Lovely. And then softening the knees, either placing the hands on the knees, or if that's too much on the lower spine, we want the hands on the top of the pelvis. Allowing the head and the neck to relax. We want to make sure that the shoulder blades are melting down the ribs at the back as well, so we're not with our shoulders up round our ears. So placing the hands on the knees, and we're going to do our circles. So oiling those joints. Let that synovial fluid spread throughout your joints. It's our natural WD-40, giving them a good oil. This also helps the ankles and the lower back as well. So change direction. So you can do large circles or smaller circles. Personally, I feel the more subtle, smaller circles go deeper into the joint. And the larger circles help the more surface area of the joint. But see what you feel. Perhaps it's the other way around. Great. And then softening the knees, let the pelvis come under you again and uncurl the spine. Great. So we've done our feet as well, sitting. So let's do some shaking, some kenbiki. So if you want a chair to hold steady you a little bit, or maybe you've got a wall, or perhaps you don't need it. So shift the weight onto one foot, making sure we don't sink into the pelvis. We want this to draw nice and long so this bowl of the pelvis can really hold all the organs and the muscles with ease. So we're going to take one foot, really just shaking the foot out. See if you can wiggle all the toes, the ankle, and then into the lower leg, the calf, into the knee, really letting everything shake. Into the thigh, shake the whole thigh if you can. Perhaps change the angle of your leg so you can really get it. And then into the hip, so you can just swing the leg here. That's great. Swinging the leg. Lovely. And then swap sides. So same again. We really want to shake all the toes out, all the metatarsal in the foot. Great. Into the ankle and the heel. Really lengthening the standing leg so we won't drop our weight into it. Lovely ball holding all of our organs. Great, into the ankle and the lower leg, into the calf. And then into the knee. Into the thigh. That's great, everyone. And then into the hip. Oh, allowing space into the upper part of the femur. That's great. And relaxing up there. Lovely. Oh, how does that feel? Shake both legs out. Lovely. So from here, let's do the arms as well. So taking the hands, really allowing all of the little bones of the hands to release. So I'll just come a bit closer. So the more you can relax your hands, the better. So you really want to bounce the bones of the hands free. And then into the wrists. See what's comfortable. You might not want to go like vigorous, but even gentle shaking can be key is great. Kind of like cooked spaghetti, like my bones are cooked spaghetti. And then to the forearms. So allowing whatever movement comes to you into the elbows. Really doesn't matter what it looks like. Into the upper arms. And into the shoulders. That's great. Super cooked spaghetti, and you just really don't know where your arms are going to take you. Lovely, and then let the arms drop. Oh. And from here, if you want to, just close your eyes, soften the gaze, taking a breath, and just noticing for yourself, where does your breath sit in your body? Where do you feel your breath? Is there more space in your body? Through your feet, your pelvis, diaphragm, mouth and skull. So as you're standing there, I'm just going to read this little bit of this book. It's actually a quote from the Tao Te Ching. If you mold a cup, you have to make a hollow. It is the emptiness that makes it useful. In a house or a room, it is the empty spaces, the doors and the windows that make it usable. So if you have your eyes closed, you can gently open them. I just want to show you inside the book that next to this quote was this lovely picture of a Neolithic stone bowl. So the hollow in the bowl is what makes the bowl useful. So that's kind of the same with our domes in the skull, in the rib cage, in the pelvis, and in the foot. So we have all these beautiful spaces to allow breath and space in to be more comfortable and healthy in our bodies. So I'll come back to standing again. So we're just going to do a little bit more standing, and then we'll come back down to the floor. So if you want, you can take a chair. First I'll show without the chair. Great. So we want to start in parallel. Feet in parallel, allow the toes to spread on the floor and the heels to rest. Find the pelvis is like neutral or comfortable on the top of your femurs there. This nice ball holding all the organs. How's your rib cage? Is that able to drop and rest the diaphragm inside? And the roof of your mouth, how is that? Is it tilted forward a little bit? Perhaps you need to just shake and nod the head to allow the domes in the head to release. Great. So I'll talk through this very simple flow, asana flow for us today, and then we can do it on each side, and I'll still talk us through it. So we're going to breathe into the belly, allowing the diaphragm to draw down and breath to come into the lungs. As we do that, I'm gathering the hands into prayer position, but fingers drawing down. Breathing out, breathing in again. Breathing out. As you breathe out, allow the hands to open up to the side, kind of like a bird, and breathe in again. Breathing out, the arms open out to the side. Breathing in and breathing out. So we're going to breathe in here, making sure the shoulders are nice and released down the back of the ribs. As we breathe out, I'm going to gently drop my head forward, chin to chest. I'm softening the knees and curling the spine, and only going as far as is comfortable. Perhaps, I'll turn sideways, perhaps here's enough for today. But if you feel comfortable, you can drop all the way forward. Still soft in the knees. I haven't lengthened the legs. That's lovely. Allowing the head and the neck to release. Want to breathe in through the soles of the feet, and it's going to ripple through the spine, breathing in. So my legs will gently lengthen a little, and let that breath ripple through the body. Breathing in again. Gently ripple through the feet to the head. Once more, breathing in and out. Just going to gently, so if you on your legs, you can gently bring the body upwards so we're the spine's nice and long. Or if you can use the floor. My knees are still soft. I want to keep my spine nice and lengthened away from the pelvis. So I'm not leaning forward. I'm really allowing the weight in my feet still. And back again. So whatever length you're at, maybe you want to hold onto the thighs. You can just lengthen the spine out long. Ripple through the pelvis all the way up to the top of the head. And back again. And then we're going to breathe in here. Breathe out. Press more weight into the feet. Open the arms out sideways, same way we came down. Breathing in and breathing out, allow the arms to come back to prayer position, upside down in the hands there. Okay, so let's do that again. I'll go a little bit faster this time, and we'll do it twice. So make sure the feet are nice and spread and rooted in the ground. So we've got these nice arches in the feet, and then gently drawing up the legs. The kneecaps are not locked, but the legs are nice and elongated into the pelvis, and the head can draw up towards the sky. So breathing in into the belly and drawing the belly button back towards the spine. I want to gather the hands into prayer position here, upside down like this. Breathing in, breathing out, the arms can open. Breathing in, everything gathers to the center. Breathing out. Breathing in, everything gathers. Shoulders are still nice and slid down the back of the ribs at the back. Breathing out, opening the arms. Breathing in. Breathing out. Opening the arms, breathing in here, arms nice and wide, the diaphragm's nice and open here as we've got the arms open. So breathe out, chin to chest, drop as far as is comfortable. Don't have to go very far. You can hold the legs, or you can sink all the way over it, really making sure that the head and the neck are always released so we don't want to hold tension. Knees are soft. Breathing in. Lengthening the leg and elongate, ripple through the spine on an out breath. Breathing in and out. Once more, breathing in and out. And then we just want to gently walk the spine long, whether on the floor or using our legs, and back again. And then breathing in here, on an out breath, press the weight into the feet more, soften the knees and the arms, open out to the sides, just the same way as we did going down. Breathing in, drawing the hands to upside down prayer again. Great. So just going to talk that through once more, but showing it with the chair. Only going as far as is comfortable. Really doesn't matter, but you don't put your chest onto your legs. It's not an aim. It's what we're doing is allowing space in the body through the pelvis, the diaphragm, and the top of the head and the feet, creating more space within so we're able to move easier. So I'll use the chair this time and slightly on the side so you can see. So feet nice and spread, knees are soft, and there's these huge domes in the body that are nice and open now. So you want to breathe in, upside down, hands, prayer position. Breathing out, the arms open, like we're flying. Breathing in, drawing the arms. Breathing out. Breathing in again. Breathing out, the arms open. Lovely. Once more, breathing in. Breathing out, the arms open. This time, we breathe out the chin to chest. So this time I'm going to catch hold of the chair. I'm going to breathe in through the feet, lengthen the legs, and ripple through the spine. Breathing in through the feet, through the pelvis, the spine, and out breath. Once more, breathing in and ripple through the spine and release. And then just gently, so I've still got my knees soft, just walking the hands out a little to the back of the chair so I can lengthen my spine. Not to collapse in it, but lengthening from the tailbone all the way up to the dome of the head at the top. Great. And then walking back the hands to where you started on the chair. Then breathing in. On an out breath, press more weight into the feet. I'm going to put weight back into my feet off the chair. Press down. We breathe out. And then breathing in again to finish. Great. So I'll just move the chair out the way. So you can do that a couple of times in your practice. So I'll just do it once more for you. Making sure if you feel dizzy at any time, just to rest. We're really working a lot with the breath and it could make you feel a little dizzy. So just sit or lie down on the floor if you feel dizzy. So just show that once more for you. So breathing in. Breathing out, opening the legs. So we really want to draw space into the domes of the body. Breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, and breathing out. So this time I'm going to breathe in, breathing out, arms open, breathing out here. Breathing in here, that's it. Breathing out, drop the head. Only go as far as is comfortable, swooping forward, making sure the head and the neck are released. Lovely, and the knees are still soft. Breathing in, rippling through the spine and breathing out. Breathing in. Once more, breathing in. And then gently walking the hands out to wherever you can, on the floor, on the body, on the chair, lengthening the spine from the tailbone all the way to the crown of the head. Knees are still soft, and back to the centre to hang over. Breathing in, on an out breath, press more weight into the feet, soften the knees, the arms open, out to the side, the same way we went down. Great, and then breathing in, drawing the hands to prayer. Great, and then release. release that. Shake the feet out on the hands. See how you feel. Perhaps you want to do that a couple more times for yourself. But for now, I'm going to come to a sitting position, or if you prefer, you can lie down. So really making sure that you're comfortable. I'm going to use some blocks, but you can also use cushions or anything like that. Don't have to sit cross-legged either. So really getting comfortable sitting on the floor. Just read to you from this book called Body Space Image. So you can have your eyes closed if you want, or open. The head balances on the spine, midway between the ears. Eyes, nose, and organs of balance are situated close to this meeting of the head and the spine. Breathe into the tip of your spine. Let the breath fill the inside of the head, softening the bones of the skull, behind the eyes, inside the jaw, the head round and soft. Imagine the whole head malleable to the breath. The roundness of your head is echoed in the roundness of the rib cage, of the pelvis, of the heels, and of the roof of your mouth. Seeing the opening at the base of the skull where the brain elongates and flows down to your sacrum. The sacrum moves down as the back of the head fills and moves upwards. The head listens to the body through the spine. So you can stay sitting here. We're going to do a bit of a longer meditation today. I've got some sounds. They resonate with each chakra. And I thought, because we touched on the 5 areas of the domes in the body, this one's focusing on the 7 chakras. Some texts say there's 5 chakras, some say even more. So I thought we could either sit, or if you want to lie down for this meditation, feel free to too. So I'm going to play some music or sounds for you, and just let the sounds wash in. Really don't mind at all if you drift off to sleep. That's completely fine as well, but I hope you enjoy. I'll just start the sound, so really making sure you're getting comfortable.
So if you have your eyes closed and you're sitting, you can gently open your eyes. If you're on the floor and you want to stay there, please feel free to. I'm going to draw the arms up the side and to the top into prayer position. Draw them down and say thank you and namaste for coming again to the online yoga and movement on a Tuesday. Could do every day now through the video if you wish to, but I'll see you next time. Bye bye.